The almost 2-hour film chronicles the start of Imelda and Ferdinand Marcos' relationship, her influence on the late dictator during the Marcos regime, martial law, the EDSA revolution, the exile of the Marcoses, and the return to the Philippines, where they aim for a political comeback. Philippine elections 2022, Marcos' return loom large as Philippines remembers people power. Dictator's son appears poised to retake power 36 years after father's ouster. But some demonstrators in Manila on Friday warned that history is at risk of being turned upside down. They say that I am concerned, I am alarmed. I never thought that 50 years since martial law, we'd be back to square one fighting on Marcos, who is hell-bent on reclaiming their lost, while pledging to create jobs and revitalize an economy battered by the pandemic. Marcos' key campaign message has centered on unity, which he parrots in public speeches and media interviews. Unity is my advocacy because I believe unity is the first step to survive the crisis we are in, Marcos told thousands of supporters when he formally launched his campaign on February 8. But Marcos' unity pitch, critics said, is aimed at sidestepping controversies surrounding his family that continue to polarize the Southeast Asian nation. Survivors of martial law also resent Marcos Jr. candidacy and have sought to disqualify him from the presidential race, citing a tax invasion conviction in the 90s. The Kingmaker began as an exploration of one of Imelda Marcos' most absorbed flexing of power and penchant of excess, the safari of Calawit Island. The film's director, Lauren Greenfield, says the First Lady's famous shoe collection is no match to this Palawan fantasy made real. And in the 1970s, Ferdinand and Imelda Marcos visited Kenya for a safari tour as people in power do, taken by the beauty of these animals and perhaps by being something beautiful that she did not own. Imelda sought to take giraffes, zebras, impala, wild boar, and gazelles to the Philippines. Ferdinand presented David Anthony Parkinson, an Englishman in the business of transferring African animals to zoos, with a briefcase full of money to make this happen. These animals were captured, packed into boxes, and shipped across the world on a whim. Best known for owning 3,000 pairs of shoes, Marcos was often depicted in the international media as the epitome of glamour, drawing comparisons to Jackie Kennedy. During her husband's reign, which began in 1965 and ended in 1986, the dictator became increasingly controversial, eventually imposing martial law in the Philippines. But the affable Marcos was most able to retain a positive reputation sent by her husband to charm the likes of Muammar Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, and Richard Nixon. She believes that beauty and money have a moral purpose for Marcos. In the film, the politician says she views herself as the star in the dark of night. For the poor, meaning that she dresses extravagantly and pushes her husband to build elaborate palaces so that impoverished could have beauty in their lives too.